Scribble Kibble, the animation show. It's got a dog.
Good evening, everybody. Afternoon, morning, whenever you are. This is the first episode in a brand new season of Scribble Kibble. Over the next 2 months, I am testing out a new show format, and if it does well, there's some really cool things in store. If it doesn't, then I cut it down to the basics. Today's feature is a series I've desperately wanted to talk about because you probably haven't seen it, and it's fantastic! Sublo Tangy Mustard is an animated comedy series with original humor, dorky characters, and a theme song that will get stuck in your head. What's interesting is after you watch all of the episodes, when you look back at the humor, you won't be able to think of a time it used pop culture references, memes, or meta fourth wall breaking jokes. That's why it feels so fresh. The jokes are character or situation based. Anytime Sublo awkwardly inserts himself into a conversation, that's character humor. He tries so hard, but he's just a doof. The fact these two stay in their costumes during normal social events creates situational humor. And there's also just jokes that are clever, like the sandwich shop's name being Subpar. The benefit of writing this way is nobody needs to know what the hot memes were back in 2017 to get the jokes. 5 years from now, all of those JoJo references will be outdated. Even right now, probably half of you have no idea what JoJo means. But jokes based on the characters themselves and their lives don't expire. Like Twinkies. Good jokes are like Twinkies. I'm getting excited about comedy writing. So the thing is, no matter how much you study it, there's no surefire formula for how to write something funny. But you can still learn by example, so let's look at how Aaron Long writes a Sublo Tangy Mustard episode. First, he keeps a record of all funny things, episode ideas, awkward situations, and silly names he thinks of. If you're a writer, you must do this. Don't expect to remember your funny idea when you wake up in the morning or after you finish this video. Write it down immediately. A lot of your ideas you'll never use, but you do need a pool to pick from. So Aaron sorts the idea notes into a master document, grouping them by theme. He looks through them to see what ideas might combine in interesting ways to make an episode. When he's got something good, he writes a 3-line synopsis of what the episode is to make sure he has a clear beginning, middle, and end. From there, he creates a draft episode script based on that outline, and then highlights what he likes in the script. As a result, he can see what parts are pointless dialogue to be rewritten or thrown out. By the time the script is finished, a third of the original will be gone. Get rid of the filler. Especially as an animator, filler means more work for you. And that is the Sublo Tangy Mustard writing process. The full blog post about it is linked below. And on that note, here to tell us how to write funny jokes, it's Piemations!
Hey!
Okay, so I have to know, are you a guy with a pie on his head or a bird?
It varies.
Oh my gosh, well how should I draw you then?
A guy with pie on his head.
So you've done a ton of parody animations, and lately you've been getting into some very clever original animations. But the one thing they all have in common is that they're funny. So how do you come up with your jokes?
I usually shoot for 2 kinds of jokes. It's either something completely unexpected or, in most cases, violent. Random violence is pretty funny. The only formula I ever really follow is the rule of thirds. Comedy comes in threes. You do one thing, and then you do it again, but then the third time you subvert expectations and do something completely different or some sort of different take on it.
What is one of the most important things that someone should do when they're writing comedy?
I think you have to keep a very visual idea of it, because a lot more goes into specifically animation comedy than dialogue, especially timing. Timing is one of the biggest things, and if you don't have timing right, almost any joke can fall flat.
Have you ever studied any funny animations to see what you like, didn't like, that sort of thing?
I watched the Angry Birds movie and enjoyed it, and I didn't know why. So I actually went back and watched that movie like 3 or 4 times through to figure out why it was funny to me.
What'd you decide?
It does have a lot of slapstick. I think that's it. Most of the dialogue is abysmal, but slapstick was really well animated.
So, thanks for being on the show. And before you go, what's coming out soon on your channel that we can look forward to?
Suction Cup Man 3. And on the Mashed channel, they are releasing a Spyro parody that I did a lot of animation for. And by a lot, I mean all.
That's going to be great. People are going to love that.
I think so. I didn't write it, so it's not my style of comedy. It's very close.
I'm thinking maybe we'll see some slapstick.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Piemations, everybody. Stay subscribed for the full interview on Saturday. I challenge you to an offhand drawing match. For the next episode, draw this image with the opposite hand than you normally use. Email your drawing to art@scribblekibble.com and include your name for credit if your art gets picked. That's our show. Stick around for fan art and music and all the info on who made what. See you in 2 weeks.